Welcome back to my introductory course, Primavera Essential. This first video is not the most engaging of the training because I need to provide some general information before to start working on P6. So let's go to see this preliminary information. First, the naming. I will use Primavera and P6 to mean the same thing, so they are used as synonymous. Second, the version and the release. This course is based on a P6 Professional, also called PPM or Standalone, but I would say that everything you will see is applicable also to the P6 Enterprise, also called EPPM. The release is the R23, release 23, and also in this case consider that from release 8, everything is basically the same. Third, the environment. I will use a Primavera which is almost blank, but you can easily follow the training with a system that contains sample data or some project or that is blank as well. Okay? Now, some more practical tips. First, the undo button. Think like there is not the undo, the Ctrl Z. This is not literally true, but it will help you to work with a system based on a database. Second, the autosave. You don't need to click Save, never, because everything is automatically saved. And third, at last, sometimes in my screen you will see the pop-up far away from where I click the button. This is just because I have two screens during the recording, and for this reason you will see this effect. Okay? Now, let's go to Primavera so we can do our first access. To start P6, you can click on the icon of Primavera or open it from the Windows Start menu by searching for P6 Professional. After you launch it, on the login screen, we enter our username and password and we click on Connect. If it's your first login, you will probably see a message about selecting an industry, this one. Just skip it for now and click OK. Once launched P6, I've landed on the Project tab. You can read it here. If you land on another tab like Activities, then follow me and click on this icon, the one with the symbol of a folder, which takes you to the Project tab. This is where we see our project list. It's like a project portfolio. Let's now talk about look and feel. And let's be very clear, this is not one of the strengths of P6. It is quite vintage, I know, but on the other side it's very powerful. As you can see, the screen is divided in three main areas, 1, 2, and 3. On the top left, we have an Excel-like view with a grid composed of line, which in this view correspond to project, and columns that we can customize. On the top right, we find the graphical representation, which correspond to the Gantt chart. On this module, which I remember is project, the bar corresponds to the entire project. While when we will switch to the Activity tab, each bar will correspond to one activity. At last, on the bottom, here, we find the Details panel, which contains the information of the item selected on the top, therefore of the project I have selected before. We also found three main bars, on the right, on the left, and on the top. Starting from the right, this is used mainly to edit data, so the content of this module. I can create or delete a project by using these two icons, for instance. The function of the left bar is to change window. Before I mentioned the Activity tab, which is this one. And now we are on the Project one, which is this icon. At last, the goal of the top bar is mainly to do changes on the view, not the content, of this module. For instance, we can decide to hide or show the Gantt chart, but we can also decide to customize the column through this icon. Last thing about the look and feel. Remember that there are often 3 or even 4 ways to perform the same operation on Primavera. First way, through the button on the bar, like the Add button on this bar. Second, from the menu on the top. If I go to the menu Edit, I find the button Add again. Third way, with a right click. If I click here, I can see again the add button. And fourth, last way, is not always available, but from keyboard. You can click on the button insert, which is the same of clicking on the add button that we have seen before. I conclude with a reassurance. I have not memorized, so I do not remember by heart all the buttons and the position of them. So don't be scared, you will get familiar with practice. Last but not least, let's set up P6 to match my environment. So follow me and click on Edit, User Preferences. On Assistance, remove the checkbox from Use New Activity Wizard. And on Application, select Project on this drop-down menu, so you will always land on the Project tab instead of landing on the Activity one. Okay, then click Close. Then, if you're using the professional version, so not the enterprise, go also to Admin and select Admin Preferences. On this menu, from the tab General, select first day of the week, Monday, and then move to Industry tab, this one, and select one of these. I select Engineering and Construction. By just selecting one of these, you remove the annoying pop-up when you launch P6. And then click Close. Then you click OK. And here we go. We are ready to work now. So see you in the next clip.